Okay, so there's no eloquent way to start this, but I've decided to do a video diary. Because right now, if I were to spend all of my time writing down what I am thinking and feeling, I would be writing for hours. So, just a little bit about me if I decide to put this out into the world. I am a recent graduate, just got my doctorate in physical therapy. And recently I've been struggling with depression. I think it's mostly just a manifestation of long drawn out loneliness. And I guess it's just kind of all coming together, and there are a bunch of factors that I think just kind of conglomerated together and kind of took a beating to my health. I think the loneliness started probably when my best friend Andrea moved out of the apartment. We were roommates. We didn't know each other before we moved in together, but it worked out awesomely. I couldn't have asked for a better match. And when she moved out, I had another roommate after her, but we never connected. And she was, around to keep me company. So I guess I didn't feel lonely at the time, but I didn't have anybody around who I really connected with except for, there was a guy I liked, and so I started, kind of investing my time in him, even though he had a girlfriend, and I didn't have any intentions, to take it, further than friendship, but ultimately that's kind of what ended up happening. We ended up cheating, and that's kind of a long story in and of itself. So yeah, that's probably the start of where my depression, I think, probably would have had its first chapter, I guess. And so I just kind of went through life. I was doing school. I was working part-time. Just kind of went through life like that. And then at some point I started traveling for my internships. And I traveled by myself. I went out to Colorado. And it was good. Like, I was excited to explore. And it was the first time that I've really traveled without family. None of my friends ever took any road trips or anything, so it was an adventure. But it was also lonely. I found myself, kind of hoping that, I wish so-and-so was with me. I wanted to share things with the people that I loved, and they weren't there for me to share those moments with them. It was still great. I had fun. I met new people. It was a great time, just lonely. And then eventually I moved to Springfield for my next internship. And I had friends in Springfield from undergrad, but at this point in my life, they were pretty much just acquaintances. I really didn't connect very closely with any of the people in Springfield anymore. And I was in a very uncomfortable environment as far as my internship went. And going from Colorado, where there's a bajillion things to do, to little Springfield, Missouri, it was kind of a hard transition. So I didn't do well in my clinical. I got homesick really bad. And I think my depression kind of started to settle in a little more at that point. But I just kind of trucked through it. Told myself, my next clinical was in Kansas City. I told myself, if I can get back to Kansas City, It's going to be fine. I'm going to be by friends again. So then I went to Kansas City and stayed with one of my classmates who was probably the closest of my classmates. And it was good. I was able to be near friends again. I was around a comfortable, familiar environment. But I got back into that cheating relationship. And again, found myself in a place where really the only person I connected with was the person that I was cheating with. And so I invested way too much of my spare time and emotion into that, as well as his group of friends, when I should have probably invested my time into other people who probably, I guess, would have invested a little more into me. So, even though I was around people that I had known for a while and, I considered to be friends and all that, I still found myself struggling with loneliness. I think part of it was that I was always living as a guest in somebody's house. I hadn't had my own place since I started traveling. And it was, there were 3 9-week rotations, so it was 6 months. I basically was homeless for 6 months. I was sheltered, but I was homeless. I didn't have a place that I considered to be my space. I was never comfortable. I don't know. I guess I have walls I don't let down around people who aren't my family or who weren't like my roommate Andrea. There's just certain people that I'm, there are borders with relationships. There's certain things you don't ask certain people, and there's certain things you don't tell certain people. And there are certain things you do or don't share with certain people. That's just how it is. I know a lot of people probably get offended that, they weren't somebody that I would have been able to tell anything to. But quite honestly, it's like, that's just kind of life. There are certain borders that people put into place, and I don't know. I guess connections are a funny thing. And I just don't seem to connect to a lot of people very often. But I guess that's just my thing. But anyways, so I did find myself at one point, I struggled. I knew it was loneliness at that point, because there was a time I was supposed to go out dancing with a friend, and he backed out. It was the guy that I was cheating with. And he backed out on me, and it bothered me way more than it should have. It was devastating, the fact that he backed out on me. I guess because I had this picture in my mind that I was going to go out with somebody, and then that picture just kind of crashed, and it was another picture of me going out by myself. And I was going to meet up with other people, but I don't know why. That picture of me going out dancing by myself was devastating, even though it's something that I've been doing a long time. And I just broke down and did this whole internal self-examination, and I tried to figure out why do I feel this way? I should be okay, doing things by myself. It's I have confidence, it's not that I don't love myself. I enjoy myself. And I I just didn't know why loneliness bothered me so much. So I told myself, look, I'm just gonna have to be okay with being by myself. Like, I tried to tell myself, you know what, be strong, be someone who is okay no matter what. Be someone who is okay, doing everything by herself, and the more I told myself that, the more I broke down inside, and I don't know why, it just kind of, I don't know why it happened that way. I guess people really just aren't meant to be by themselves. Maybe some people function like that, but I guess I don't. And so it led to a few arguments with my friend, but I don't think he really ever understood. I don't communicate very well what my needs are. I don't dive into the depths of my problems with other people. If I tell somebody that something's wrong, I say it very casually, but if I say something's wrong, then something is devastatingly wrong, but people don't know that about me, so. And it's kind of my fault. I have those boundaries, I guess. I don't know. I can't expect everybody to just read my mind and be able to tell, that I needed help, or that I needed company, that I needed something, and I think at the time I didn't realize how bad off I was either, so I couldn't communicate it. And for those of you wondering where my family was during all this, they're in St. Louis, so I would talk to them. I think the thing was I just physically needed someone by me. I think I'm a very physical person, and I think that's always been what my struggle with God has always been. People are always like, God's always there for you, and when it comes to physical presence, which is what I need in my life, I don't see how God can provide that except through people. And people weren't there for me at the time, and I tried to spend my time, around in an environment that I felt welcomed, and I felt like I could just relax around, because for me to spend time with people, I'm an introvert, so for me to spend time with people, normally it's me giving out energy, and there's only a handful of people in my life who I was able to just be around and not feel like I'm giving out energy. They were people I felt like were giving me energy. And that was with the guy that I was cheating with and his friends. Ironically enough. So yeah. I'm gonna keep these videos to 15-minute increments because nobody wants to sit through a half-hour video, and these will probably be longer. So I'm gonna end this video chapter with I ended my internship in Kansas City successfully, and then I was on winter break, and I got to spend some time just chilling with my family, and it was good. And I will see you all later. Till next time.